We are live.
Oh, hey.
How's that idea? I
Will you
think
send
we're
fun to
good.
me? That reminds me, Armin, you have to make me full volume.
Oh, we already fixed it.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, already
Um,
fixed it. Yes, let's do this.
exactly. Hello,
Okay.
everybody.
How does Soraya not know this? I'm so disappointed in Soraya. She's like,
Oh no.
it's saying, is Susanna blocked by Twitter? Can't find her in search. Something is not right. Where have you, like, how do you not know that Susanna has been suspended by Twitter? How do you not know this? Yes, she has been.
For about a month.
Yes, like you just figured that out now. You're not.
We
You're if you don't. If you did not know that, you're not a true AR fan.
we're tuck-fearing people now.
We're tech fearing Soraya.
um yeah, we actually have an
Okay.
update on that.
We're gonna cover. Don't tell them. We're gonna cover them. We're
I'm
gonna
not gonna
cover
I'm not
that.
gonna say what, but we have an
Yeah.
update tomorrow on the
It's gonna
news.
be on. It's gonna be on the news.
So make
Same
sure
time tomorrow.
into the news. Yeah.
Oh, here's a good question by our very own queen.
If you were one of the mythological gods or goddesses, which would you be? That's tough.
Allah, the most powerful one, I guess. I
That's
mean,
lame.
I know, but are we being practical or just being like trying to like cool? Because practical, if you want to
Cool.
be practical, you have to pick the one that can't, that every can. Well, actually, I don't know. That's like lame. That is lame.
Lame.
All
Boo.
right, which one is the coolest one? Which
I'm
basically,
gonna do one of these.
you
Well,
know, I can get all philosophical with this, but that would be boring because I feel like
oh boy.
God, Allah is the least, because he's the most, he's all knowing. He's
Mhm.
a slave. Like the term, he's, if you believe it, if you understand determinism and how that works, then he's limited by
Mm,
his own knowledge. The fact that he already
mm,
know, so he's basically, he's like he's unlike the rest of us where we have the illusion of free will. He doesn't even have the illusion of free will because he knows that everything is determined already. Like it's a self-contradiction. All powerful and all knowing is a contradiction.
mhm, mhm.
I'm not going to get into that, but anyways, this is not where this is not where the Queen Fabi wanted to take us by this question.
Boo.
So you answer the question while I think about this.
It's tough. The first thing that came to my mind is Persephone, but she doesn't really have any powers or anything. Um, I think Artemis is pretty cool. She's really cool, but she has to remain chaste, so that sucks. Um, so I would maybe pick Athena. I guess it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a female. I could choose a different. It's really
I
tough.
chose.
It's
I
really
choose
tough. What do you pick?
Odin.
Oh,
You want both obsession with being a warrior and strength, but also with knowledge and learning at the same time.
yes, King.
You get Odin.
Um, people are saying that I should say "sexy Kali," and Bobby saying they don't want to be your mama.
But wait, can I? Can I? I don't know if I'm. Did we make this public or not? Okay. I'm
We
not gonna
did.
say. Okay, sexy. Sexy Kelly doesn't. Sexy Kelly is a dom.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to be sexy Kelly.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know if I can say, like, can you? Do you know what I'm trying? Like, anyways.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So is this okay to elaborate on this? Or
I
no?
think that's good enough.
That's gonna. Murtad is saying, nice shirt, Susanna.
I'm coming for you, Canada. Actually, they won't let my dirty American ass in the country right now, so. Um,
Serious, okay.
Okay,
No, I did not out Susie, guys. I already asked. This is public, okay? It's already public. Don't shame me for anything like that, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna ban people in the live chat that are trying to make this. Damn Canadians.
True.
Wait, I'm Canadian.
My point stands. Katie is saying, I agree with you that Hinduism and Hindutva are slightly different. What are the differences according to you? Oh, my word. Well, this is not nearly my area of expertise, right? This is something I'm still learning. I mean, I think you know more about this than me, Katie. I mean, my understanding of Hinduness, or no, Hindutva, is that it literally means like Hinduness. It's about the establishment of a Hindu identity, whereas Hinduism may have just been kind of a practice, but maybe not a solid identity. I don't know. People correct me.
Okay, here's the way you could look at it. I know this is not accurate. Don't come at me. This is not accurate. But the difference, the pretend difference between Islam and Islamism, that it does not exist because Islam is political by nature. So Islam and Islamism, there's no difference between them. I see that difference actually does exist between Hinduism and Hindutva. Okay, so if you political, Hindutva is more political than Hinduism, and Hinduism
and militant.
Hinduism does have some politics in it, to be fair, right? But it's not political by like all of it is not political. Also, Hindutva is kind of more modern and nationalistic. Like, okay, so Hinduism, the idea of a nation state is a modern concept, but proto-nations existed before nation state was a concept, right? A lot of, for example, a lot of people consider Iran and India naturally a nation before the concept of nation was a thing. Like, people had an understanding that this is Iran, this is India. Okay, so they were proto nations, like, even though they were not really nations. So Hinduism, technically, you could say it had some sense of nationality in it, even though there were nation states were not even a thing back then. But because it was tied to a land, just like Zoroastrianism was tied to a land, had that element into it. But Hindutva is more connected to the idea of a nation state with the modern understanding of a nation state. So it's more political. It's more in line with promoting a nation and creating an identity for a nation with the more modern understanding of what a nation state is, rather than the Hinduism's connection to a land, which was more connected to the more ancient understanding of what a land is and what the ethnicity of the people are and what the identity of the people are back then, right? There's a lot of parallels between the idea of Hindutva as a political movement, in my opinion. And again, these are all generalizations. Don't come at me. With the movement in Israel in trying to make Judaism. So we have 3 definitions for Judaism, they're separate, and 3 definitions for Hindu, they're separate. We have ethnicity, we have culture, and we have religion. Okay, and I think in India, the push for making a 4th definition, this Hinduness, as a national identity, so much so that you could see that there's even a suggestion where non-Hindus can be accepted as having a Hindu identity by accepting this. So you're creating something that you could accept as, if you want to be India, you have to have some Hinduness in you, right? So that's Hindutva is promoting that. And you can see that in Israel as well. They're adding a 4th definition of what it means to be a Jew. You have the 3 traditional definitions: ethnicity, culture, or religion. This idea of if you want to, this is a far, by the way, this push is by far right in both India and in Israel, trying to sell the idea of being a Hindu or as a Jew as a national identity rather than ethnicity or religion or culture, and so suggesting that maybe even Arabs could be Jews. Again, I know this is confusing to a lot of people, and this is like, what the hell are you talking about? But no, this is like an accepting a national identity, and this is very dangerous because what you're suggesting is that you're creating a tier system, like a dual lower class citizen and an upper class citizen, like second class citizen, as a way. If you want to be an Israeli, you have to accept the Jewish identity, even if you're not a Jew. Or if you want to be accept the Indian identity, if you want to be considered a full Indian citizen, accepting the Hindu identity. So this is like this is a way to go from pretending that you are tolerant, but slowly moving towards creating an ethno state. And basically that's a very different thing from what Hinduism as a religion or as a culture is. Like, so they're very, very different, but they use as an excuse, as an identity, as the symbolism of it, and the the culture of it, as it's mostly a design, mostly a PR, mostly a paint shop of a political movement. So it doesn't, in that aspect, I don't think they share that much, other than the way it looks and feels and smells. Looks Hindu, sounds Hindu, smells Hindu, but at the end, at the core, it's a completely different thing. It's a political movement with a completely different agenda. Anyways, that's my take on it. It could be completely, tell me if I'm full of crap, or if I'm on point or somewhere in between. Yeah, like I said, Hinduism, I was very clear about this. I didn't say Hinduism doesn't have politics, right? Hinduism also has I was said that right from the beginning. So Katie's saying Hinduism also has politics, but it's mostly focuses on the family and society. I would say Hindutva is expansionist Hinduism. Yeah, but Hindutva is political to the core, right? So I don't know if it's expansionist Hinduism, because it's like there's so many different things that are different about it. But yeah, sure. One difference. Let's be fair to Hindutva. One difference that Hindutva want to advertise, like they try to, like sometimes they act like it's the same, sometimes they act like they're different. But the thing that they like to market about Hindutva the most,
they don't behead people.
No.
Well, they do like to market that.
Yeah, but that's Hindus as well. No, I'm talking about one thing that okay, actually, here's a guess for you. What is it that Hindutva points out as something that might make them, they don't spell it out, but you could be seen as a difference between Hindutva and Hinduism that Hindutva do like to promote often? They're against. Hindutva is against. Yes. Hindutva is against the caste system. I think you know what? Even if you disagree with me, you have to agree that was pretty good. Like, a lot of people in India agree with what I just said. Even if you disagree with me, that was pretty good. Come on, somebody give me some Indians in the live chat. Give me some recognition here. Come on. Oh, that analysis was pretty good. Yeah, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, like I need some recognition for that right now. I you know what? If you're not impressed, I'm gonna tell you. I was just impressed. Okay, I am very impressed right now with what I just said. So I don't give a crap if you're not.
You do all the congratulating you need. All right. Oh man, Thomas Garcia. Well, thank you for the super chat. Gave us $5. See, I said, oh man, Thomas, because Armin was hoping that people would forget.
Yes, I was hoping that you would forget. God damn it.
He's saying, are you still getting drunk? When we reach 30,000, Susanna will be joining Armin for celebratory drinks.
We need one of us to...
Someone that's got to be sober.
Someone's got to be sober. If we're both drunk, somebody needs to pull the plug if one of us says something that's going to take down the entire channel. Okay, so we need like somebody on the driver's seat. Okay, so I'll get drunk. Oh God, I was really hoping you guys forgot about that. This is gonna be the end of our channel, Susie. That's the end of our channel.
That's why I was mad that you even offered that.
I'm gonna say something.
This is a terrible idea.
No, I'll be fine. But okay, yeah, we'll do it.
This is a shit show.
Wait, don't swear. We're gonna get in. Yeah.
British Jane is saying, "What do you think is the future of India? Should I leave the country and move to Canada?"
No.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, look, it's your own life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But that's Armin's job. And I understand the attraction to North America and also just like the civil liberties. Trust me, I'm not trying to minimize that or diminish that. And the importance of just having that and being able to relax, because you have your civil liberties are protected. But it's really expensive here in North America.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of living is high. People, I don't think they really understand that when they're like, I need to move to the States. I need to move to Canada. Like, you can have an amazing lifestyle in a cheaper country.
Yeah.
Like, I live in the most, I mean, it goes back and forth. I live in like the most expensive city in the country. It's not easy.
No, you're not. Your lifestyle is not going to improve unless you're like in physical danger and they're hunting you down or something like that. Which they're probably not doing that in India. Okay, especially if you have an online job, you're going to be able to have a much. Oh yeah, if you're gonna be able to enjoy a much better life in India if your job is online than even if you want to leave India, don't
go to the North America.
Don't go North America and Western Europe. Like there are many other countries that are free that you're gonna be able to have a much higher lifestyle with a fraction of the cost. Like people think like most of like North America and Western Europe, most people want to go there because of the branding. They have this illusion of everything is fantastic. Like they have this utopian view of how great.
No, my city is covered in human poop, literally.
Yeah.
More people have died from overdoses from effing fentanyl over the past year than they have from the beer bug, than they have from the virus. That's the state of where I live. I get to see people OD. And it's like the highest cost of living in the country. Like it's crazy. I mean, thank you to California lawmakers. That's a whole different story.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're like an ex-Muslim that is trying to like escape being prosecution or stuff like that, maybe consider like some other countries, right? You know what? You should consider India. Okay, if you are an ex-Muslim in Saudi Arabia and you want to get away, don't keep like, oh, I'm going to Canada, Germany. Consider India. You're not, it might be easier to get there. And if you get an online job, you might be able to afford a lot more in India with your online job than the lifestyle, the tiny little half an apartment that you're going to be able to get in like Vancouver, Canada, which is like one of the most expensive real estates. You're going to be able, for the money that you have to spend on getting an apartment in Vancouver, Canada, you could live like a king somewhere. I don't know.
And that's another problem is like where we live, like we have to deal with like global market competition for real estate. I have to compete in the housing market from internationally because of the branding of where I live, right? But Kenji is asking a very good. I hope that was helpful, British Jane. Kenji is asking a good question. How would you respond when Muslims say I can't refute Islam because I don't know Arabic, thus can't understand the Quran? At what level of knowledge do you become entitled to criticize Islam? Here's the deal. Most Muslims don't understand Arabic. Do they know Arabic?
No.
Statistically, Statistically, most Muslims don't know Arabic. So, do they know it well enough to know it themselves? Or if they do know it, they just know it like rote memorization typically. It's not like they could necessarily I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone, of course. You know, construct a sentence. That's not really what I say. You know, it's not a genuine proficiency in the same way. And then at what level of knowledge do you become entitled to criticize Islam? I mean, as soon as you find something that you find that you don't like, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, can I? So, your question is: at what level of knowledge do you become entitled to criticize Islam? According to who? Okay. According to Muslims, many Muslims. Hashtag not all. It will never be enough. Okay. According to many Muslims, if you don't know Arabic, first of all, it's not just that a lot of Muslims don't know Arabic. A lot of Muslim scholars don't know Arabic, but if they like their view, they will accept them as scholars and knowledgeable people. And if they don't like their views, then they are uneducated and full of crap, right? But according to a lot of these Muslims who say that you don't know Arabic, so you don't get to criticize Islam. So here's the thing: if you know Arabic, they will still be like, well, you're not a scholar. If you are a scholar, they were like, well, you didn't go to the right school, right? So, for example, you think if you become an Islamic scholar, like every single step you pass, you will. That doesn't mean that they think that now you're entitled. Like, for example, even their own scholars who are fluent in Arabic, when they say something that is stepping out of line, they all of a sudden say they went to the wrong schools. You don't technically. All you need to know is that without evidence, you're not going to believe in any claim. That's all. You don't need even the slightest amount of education to understand that you have a claim, you have no evidence, I can't believe it. That's all it takes. You don't even need to have finished high school. You don't even need to have gone to any schooling at all to be able to understand that. So that's all you need to know to be able to refute any religion. Okay. When it comes to understanding Islam, if you're worried about, well, I don't know Arabic, well, there are a whole bunch of people who know Arabic, and they've written books about Islam, and you could read the people that on their side, like that disagree with you, and their commentary. Like you could read tafsir, right? You could read, like, if you want to understand the Quran from many different directions, like people that have this view and people have that view, then you could read the commentary of on every single verse has commentary by people that are not just know Arabic, they are fluent in classical Arabic. Because even if you know Arabic, that doesn't mean you understand classical Arabic. You don't understand the Arabic, the context of the Arabic that the Quran was written in. And here's the thing: I would argue that even if you know classical Arabic, it seems like that's not even enough, because it's not even clear that the Quran, for example, was written originally in classical Arabic, because at the time that the Quran was written, Arabic was at its infancy. It's possible that a lot of the Quranic writings comes from writings that were in Syriac, right? So now you could be like, hey, you think you understand classical Arabic, so you understand the Quran. Well, you have to take away all the dialectic marks from the Quranic verses and now compare what's left, right, with the Syriac version of it, and see if now it makes sense more in Syriac rather than in Arabic. So there's that. So it will, like, I'm basically using the Muslims' own weapons against them, because they think they understand the Quran because they know Arabic. or classical Arabic, I was like, well, you don't know Syriac, so maybe your understanding of the Quran is completely wrong. Maybe all the dialectic marks on every single verse is in the wrong place. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But do you know Syriac? Have you compared it with the Syriac version of the Quran? So there you go. So it will never be enough. But all you need to know, you don't need to know any of that. All you need to know is that there's a claim, there's zero evidence, and that's all you need to know. Anyways.
I'm looking for more questions. Shadid is saying, what do you think of Ben Shapiro? When I'm looking for someone who is more of a, I guess, principled conservative, that's not really the right word for it, though. Like, they have that branding of, like this, the formality kind of. I think conservatives tend to like a more formal look more. So he gives me that flavor when I'm looking for conservative commentary that isn't from a Trumper, like Trumper Republicans. They don't even, I mean, a lot of them are so deep that they don't even believe in the GOP anymore. They have abandoned the GOP at this point. They're just Trumpers. They're like their own thing. So when I'm looking for someone to give me conservative commentary who's not a Trumper, Ben Shapiro is one of the people I go to, because I think he gives me a good taste of like kind of what that local zeitgeist, so to speak, is like. He falls into that category of like people who think that just like gender nonconformity is shaking the foundations of Western civilization, and I think that's insane. Like, it's an existential threat. But it's pretty funny to see the random things that he just loses his mind over. What do you think of Ben Shapiro, Armin?
I think he's full of crap, but I do listen to him sometimes. Because when me and Susanna, when we're listening to like conservatives or left-leaning people, it's not because we agree with them. It's because we're trying to get an understanding of what the conversation is like when I listen to Islamic channels, when I listen to Christian channels, or any other, but I think Ben Shapiro is a good channel, to just get an understanding of what the conversation is on the right. I think Ben Shapiro is a good channel. I do think that a lot of, when people speak fast and with a lot of confidence, a lot of people assume that they know what they're talking about and they're making a lot of sense. One advantage that we get when we listen to all sides is we notice how each side is framing the conversation, and they're so being dishonest with their audience, right? So when we listen to mainstream media, then the left-leaning commentary and the right-leaning commentary, sometimes when we listen to the left-leaning commentary, we can see like, ooh, that was like not a very honest framing of that situation, and you left this part out, and you're not being very honest with your audience here, right? So we notice that when we're watching some left-leaning channel. And then when I watch Ben Shapiro, for example, or some other right-leaning channel, I notice that as well. They're like, sometimes I feel like, ooh, you slimy piece, like you're being so slimy here, because they say something and they strawman the other side, and they just like, for example, Ben Shapiro, like, if you're like watching Ben Shapiro and you're not listening to the other side, you are being misled. You are being misled because, and they cheer on because like they take the other side, they make what they're actually saying in the most ridiculous format of it, or they're the most ridiculous people on the other side, and they misrepresent. Like, for example, if you listen to Ben Shapiro, something that is happening, they strawman the left-leaning people, or they find somebody, the most ridiculous person that they could find from the other side, and then they tear that apart in front of their audience, and their right-leaning audience are like, yes, oh my God, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Ben Shapiro. You're so wise. You're so smart. Look at this ridiculous left-leaning people, and you just destroyed them in front, and you don't listen to the other side. So you think it's so easy for you to think that this person that you're listening to you is being so smart because you listen, because all you know about the other side is the things that the way he's presenting them to you, right? So be careful not to listen to these people, but also because if you start listening to all sides, you start noticing how biased these content creators are. Okay, one reason why I like us to, because I know I'm probably going to do the same thing. That's why one thing I like to do is to do these live chats, live streams with you guys in the live chat, so that if I do that unintentionally, some of you could call me out on it, right? Like, for example, if I'm misrepresenting somebody from an Islamic channel or a Hinduism channel, somebody in the live chat could be like, but Armin, that's not what they said. Like, so you guys are responsible for not making sure that me and Susanna don't do that to you guys, right? And we'll try to highlight you guys, even if we disagree with you and like we completely destroy in the live chat. We still need you guys to like call us out if you think we're ever doing something like that. But go on, Susanna.
Yeah, no. One thing that I think he does, that because I've started to watch more of his content recently, I like him because I think he has a better understanding. And I mean, like, broadly speaking, okay? Like, last night we watched a video of Officer Tatum and Ben Shapiro reacting to the same piece of news, which is this thing called, like, the 8 white identities that was introduced in, like, one school in New York. And watching them both react to the same piece of news was very interesting to me because I was able to tell that Ben Shapiro did have a better understanding of the intellectual framework of some of where this 8 white identities was coming from, but like barely. But he had some nuance and like understanding of it, whereas like Brandon Tatum was just like, they just want you to hate white people. But what Ben Shapiro always does is he will take something that is usually like a kernel of legitimate criticism that I could be like, I like see where he's coming from, or especially with the anti-woke stuff. I'll be like, yeah, this is patently absurd. But he'll go, and this is why the liberals want to destroy everything. He turns it into, he will immediately turn the smallest kernel into liberal scaremongering. So like it's 8 white identities things. This happened at one school in New York, right? And I think it might have even been a private institution. I'm not positive. Yeah. And he was like, so this is what's going to happen to your children under the education department of the Biden administration. I'm like, do we know that? Like his criticism of the framing of equity in this specific situation is good, but better. But the rest of it, he turns everything into liberal scaremongering.
Sometimes I feel like because I know that these people are going to find every single instance of some ridiculous wokey stuff, sometimes I feel like, well, that means that there's not that many of them, because I'm pretty sure every time they happen, they will find it and they will highlight it, right? So, for example, like there's this thing that's saying like, oh, if you're not anti-white, you're basically, I don't know, that it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And they bring it and they highlight it and they make fun of it, but then they exaggerate, like this is the liberal, like this, like they exaggerate, they generalize, they exaggerate how big of a deal it is. But at the same time, to me, it has the opposite effect, because to me, like, okay, in the past months, they found 2 all over the country. They found 2 examples like this all over the country. So that means that this whole wokey stuff can't be that high, that it can't be that as big as they. I mean, it is. I'm not saying we should dismiss it, but I'm pretty sure like these right-wing channels, when I see every time it happens, they all highlight it. Like not all of them, but half of them start highlighting it, right? So I know they're not gonna miss it when it happens. So I like, okay, is this all then, right? So it can't be that big. So for me, it has the opposite effect.
Oh wait, there was one question I want to answer quickly before I lose it.
We go to super chat.
Yeah.
Give preference to our members. We are contractually obligated.
Stop saying that. This is very quick. So, Kelana is saying, do you know any ex-Muslims from Finland? How do you connect with them? Well, wait, let me share my screen really quick. Actually, what's the best way to do this? God damn it. Okay, actually, I'm not going to share my screen. Basically, go look for ex-Muslims of Scandinavia on Twitter and Facebook.
And our own consulate, Atheist Republic
Yes.
consulate. Yes.
We have consulates on our website. Go check out our website. You can find local groups in your area. That's probably more local to you than ex-Muslims of Scandinavia. That's broader, but go check that out. Okay.
Okay, super chats.
Mhm.
We have 2 super chats. Omar Sheikh.
You made an thank you for the £5.
Thank you.
You made an effort to make connections with the Dawa team at Speaker's Corner, which you burned when you ripped the Quran. They hate you now. Okay.
You're talking about me. I did actually. Well, here's the thing. I'm never gonna stop trying to make connection to people who I disagree with. The point is not. The point is to show that you're making an effort. Like if they burn, but if they burn the bridge, that's them, right? I still did what I'm. The goal of that attempt is already achieved by you showing the attempt. The fact that it doesn't work, whether it works or it doesn't work, you win, because if it works, then it shows that, hey, you look, I can be anti-Islam and still make a connection to Muslims. And if it doesn't work, it still works because I didn't burn the bridge, they burned the bridge, right? I go like, yeah, look, I can still be anti-Islam and still try to make a connection to Muslims, okay? It's not, if they see you as if you try to make a connection to Muslims, even though you're against Islam, and they refuse you, you still made that attempt, and you can see you're signaling to your community that you made that attempt, and that you're consistent with that, right? However, and also, just because the Dawah team doesn't really represent the average Muslims, right? Because the Dawah team, they have a community that they need to, appease. They can't, if I desecrate the Quran and they come and be like, hey, yes, Armin, we disagree with Armin. We're for Islam, he's against Islam, but we could be buddies with him. They're going to lose half their audience, right? So, again, and this is not even with just a Dawah community. This happened with a lot of Hindutva people as well, right? There's a lot of Hindutva people who like behind this, like with channels, giant channels and stuff like that. Like they tell me like they're cool with me, but they can't say that to their audience because of the blasphemous art that we did, right? However, just because
in danger.
Yeah, and also they lose half their audience if they do that, right? So, but the average person, average Muslim and the average Hindu, and even the average Hindu, I would argue that I have a bigger chance with making a connection with them because they don't have to worry about losing their community, and if they're secret about it, they don't even have to worry about getting backlash from other Hindus or other Muslims, right? I do think, and I have actually made connection with people, Muslims and Hindus, who even disagree with my methods of being not only they disagree with me being anti-Hinduism or anti-Islam, they even disagree with my methods of being anti-Islam or anti-Hindu, and they still manage to be friends with me, even after disagreeing with my methods, right? So, and I think I have a much better chance with the average Muslim or average Hindu without an audience than the one that has to worry about how the community is going to perceive them if they are too close to me. We got another super chat.
Oh, snap.
I don't understand this. But Varum, thank you so much for the $5 super chat.
This
I
is
love
like
it.
Math formula. A lot to this. This is, how do you say, this is, the caret means it's an exponent, right?
Wait, no. Allah to the power of 2 plus Allah plus 1 is equal. So Allah plus Allah to the power of 2 has to be minus 1. Well, okay, I'm not gonna do this live on there. Wait, so minus 1. It could be minus 1. Yeah, no. Then Allah is 1. Allah is minus 1. That's Allah is no. Oh shit. Oh no, I don't know. The sum of Allah and Allah to the power of 2 has to be -1, but I don't know how to solve that right now. Well, thank you for the math problem live on air, Varun.
Yeah, I'm like literally talked and I can barely do math, so.
Oh.
Interesting. Katie saying, not sure how legit it is, but I heard that OP Indy is one of only the few sites that Wikipedia doesn't accept as citation. Well, I hope so.
I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of sites that Wikipedia doesn't accept. Why dreams are not real? Dreams are real. They're chemical reactions in your brain. That's real. They're real chemical reactions in your brain.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily like real lived experiences the same way.
They are lived experiences. You're experiencing them while you're sleeping, and you're alive while you're sleeping. So they're lived experiences.
I have some memories that, because I'm a very vivid dreamer, like I don't actually remember if they were dreams or not. So they
dreams
real for me.
Dreams are real. You're experiencing them while you're sleeping. They're chemical reactions that are happening in your brain while you're sleeping. I don't know.
But it's not an event that happened consciously while I was consciously awake.
Yeah, also, but you were consciously sleeping.
About unicorns and stuff. Like, that's not real.
It is real. It's a chemical reaction about a unicorn.
A unicorn.
What?
If something literally physically impossible happens in my dream, that's not something that the fact that I dreamed that is real. But that doing that thing that defies physics is not real.
It's not defying physics though, because that unicorn does exist in your head in a form of a chemical reaction.
Oh, you're just you know.
No, it's like I know it's like zeros and ones on a computer. Like if you have a unicorn on your computer, right? That unicorn is real in the forms of zeros and one in your computer. So the unicorn that you're dreaming about in your sleep exists in the form of the way neurons store information in your head. So that unicorn is real. Anyways. Okay. Whoa, we got a $5 super chat from our very own Imam. Amazing.
Armin, you said Arabic was in its infancy during Islam, but Arabic poets like Imru al I can't do the Arabic Q.
What?
What? Long before
it was okay. So this it's not a binary question. Okay, it's a spectrum, right? So when it comes to Arabic, for example, I mean, it's a Semitic language, right? So at what point Arabic begins and the previous Semitic language that it evolved from ends, who's going to decide that, right? You can't decide at what point Arabic begins and the other language ends, right? So you could have poets that have poetry in Arabic, but is it Arabic? Yes, it is Arabic, but how far away from the previous language is it at that point, right? And also poets mostly back then, it was a not written poetry, right? This is like all not, oral, right? So when it comes to Arabic being in infancy at that point, we're mostly referring to the written form, right? The written form of Arabic, especially at that point, was so unsophisticated that couldn't even distinguish between be, pe, like, they didn't have pe because they couldn't distinguish between ze and re, right? Dal, zal. These are things that sound completely different from each other, and they had no way at that point to tell which one is which in the written form. Like that's why it eventually became, they added the dots and the vowels and things. But at that point, this was such, you had to just guess based on the usage of a word in a sentence. You had to guess what this means, and you can see how problematic that is right now when it comes to the Quran, because a lot of the verses in the Quran could mean something completely else, and in fact it could mean something that makes more sense than the way that they put the dialectic marks today If you remove them and try to add them back on again, you could actually make the Quran mean completely something else. Sometimes even something that makes a lot more sense. But that shows, at least the written form, you could have like very sophisticated poetry with a language that has a much longer history, especially in its other forms, like in its other forms before it became uniquely Arabic. You could have it in orally, you could do poetry about it, but just that doesn't mean that the written form of it was advanced in any way. And that's actually historically, we know it wasn't. This is something that even Muslims don't deny, that the written format of Arabic at that point was completely incomplete and basic compared to what we have right now. I mean, they didn't have any of the dialectic marks that separated so many of their letters. Like how much, how could that not be a problem? Yeah, by the way, the language that I'm saying, like Syriac, is like a form of Aramaic, like another Semitic language at that point. That was the Syriac version of Aramaic, was what was being spoken before Arabic in that area. Anyways.
Oh, we got another super chat.
Well, we're getting super
right up my alley.
We got the super chat before that one, no? Oh no. Yes, we did. Like, we have to do this one first.
Oh shoot. Oh hi, AGA. Just had a bunch of Hinduva mass follow me on Twitter. Spent the last 4 hours blocking them all in the accounts they follow.
Why didn't you just like post stuff that? Why would you block them? Why would you not
AGA is on her third or fourth Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Hinduva mass reporting at this point. So she's now, I guess, taking preemptive measures.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you for the super chat, AJ.
Omar Sheikh, thank you for the £2, saying unlikely Ali Dal will be your friend anytime soon.
Yeah, but like, okay, and why should I care though? Like, why does that okay, but thank you for the super chat, okay? But that's the goal is not to make them our friend. The goal is to make the attempt and show that you made the attempt. That's the entire goal. It doesn't, like, do you assume that I'm like upset that I don't have Ali Dawah as a friend? Like I don't know what the assumption here. Maybe I'm not understanding what the assumption here is, because that's not a loss.
Varun is saying it is established. Thank you for the $5, sorry. It's established that Allah is imaginary. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Varun.
And then the other super chat was, this is right up my alley. Thomas Garcia saying, thank you for the 5 Australian pounds. No, dollars. Saying, how can I learn about Shia Islam? I've read Bill Warner and Robert Spencer's books, but they only cover Sunni Islam from the non-believer's perspective. Well, this has been one of my favorite activities lately, is to do a deep dive into Shia Islam. So, I mean, there's like lots of different types of Shia Islam, right? I'm assuming you're talking about like more mainstream 12er Shiism, not necessarily like more niche things like being a smiley or something. But in Armin's like, are they even Shia?
They are. I'm just joking, by the way, because for so many years I assumed that Shia Islam, like growing up under Islam, Iranian influence, I assumed that Shia Islam is the 12er Jafari Islam, and that's about it, right? But I didn't know there are other forms of Shia Islam until I left Islam. But go ahead.
So if you want more of the like pro Vilayat al-Faqih Islam, a good channel to use or to watch is Islamic Pulse. I think they do a good job of explaining things from like that perspective. If you
from their own perspective, like not
yes.
anti. Yes. Okay.
Yes, exactly. They're very pro the Iranian regime. If you are interested in people who are more Shia but like against the Iranian regime, then I would go, and not even explicitly too. So this is the whole thing of the Shirazi Shias. And there's a channel called Rafida Plus that I watch a lot. So they're they follow Sheikh Yasser Al-Habib, who is extremely controversial and behind the new film Lady of Heaven. Then I also watch a lot of lectures or majlis from Dr. Syed Amar Naqshwani. He's my favorite person to listen to lectures from. I find his lectures very engaging. I like his speaking style a lot. So that's who I would go to.
Okay.
Naqshwani.
So Susanna is giving you pro-Shia propaganda that she's interested in watching.
Yes.
If you want but by the way, the people that you mentioned, be careful with Bill Warner and Robert Spencer. These are extremely biased. They're not these are not. I mean, I read Robert Spencer myself, but I read it with a grain of salt. Like, these people have, the Bill Warner especially, like Robert Spencer, like, these are not. I mean, I'm not saying don't read them. I read them, but they are not very objective. Okay, they're good in pointing you to the maybe direction and to see what the actual scholars are saying. Right? There's a good way, but like Susanna is doing the extreme other way around. She's actually looking at the Islamic propaganda directly. Like,
give me your best.
Right. One way you want to start, if you want an objective recent history of Shia Islam, the book I really enjoyed reading was the Shia Revival. Oh, Suze, maybe you would be interested in reading that. Actually, and I don't know, maybe you already know, by Vali Nasr. That's a really good objective. Like, it's not like anti-Shia, pro-Shia. It's just an objective book. The Shia Revival. Very, very, very fun book to read. Very interesting book to read. And if you want, I don't know, here's the thing. At some point in your anti-religion activism, you have to get to the point that these are obviously fake. You don't need to go look for people telling you why these religions are not true, right? Go look at people who are objectively analyzing them, rather than people that are motivated in telling you, like, boo, be afraid, Shia Islam, bah! Like, oh, Islam, like, boom, like, yeah, we already know, like, this is full of crap, right? These ideologies are full of crap. Give me the scholarly, objective analysis, please. Like, I already know that I'm not supposed to believe in this stuff, okay? So again, the reason, for example, I'm reading Robert Spencer's book is not because I think he's the best source when it comes to the history, the revisionist. I'm not even saying the revisionist view of Islamic history is correct right now. I'm just very interested in it. But the reason why I'm reading Robert Spencer is because nobody else has, like, created a digestible summary of it so far, right? Everything else is just like giants of academic. Like, you need to have the scholars, and then you need to have people who are both have good, because the books themselves, they're not scholarly work. They're just meant for people like us who are not scholars, who take the scholarly work and then present it to us for us laymen to be able to consume it. But you want the books to be written by the scholars themselves, so that it is written in a way that you can consume it, but it's also by people who recognize what is a scholarly work and what is not scholarly work, so that you're not being fed bullcrap, right? So I'm waiting for more books like that about the history of Islam from but right now, in a revisionist, in defense of the revisionist view of the history. But so far, Robert Spencer is the only one that has written a book like that, and I'm enjoying it, to be fair. I mean, this guy is like a fear-mongering Sharia scare tactic, like, kind of guy that jihadi. Everybody who disagrees with me is doing taghiya kind of guy. So it's not the right person to refer people to. But right now, I'm enjoying his book, and it gives you all the sources. He's a good writer, but just know that his agenda is to destroy. I rather learn about Islam from the people whose their agenda is not my agenda. My agenda is to destroy Islam, but I want to learn more about Islam with people who are just trying to give you the facts. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, yeah, I guess I should have prefaced my recommendations with saying that this is explicitly propaganda. But I actually find that very useful to analyze propaganda. I one, just because I find it fascinating. It helps me, like, it helps me understand them when I'm like, what do they want me to believe? But it's not an objective analysis. It's mainly just my own fascination. Oh, very importantly, Bubble is here.
Bubble.
Saying, what's up? And she has an excellent question. The book Rangila Rasul, which led to the blasphemy laws in India and Pakistan, and some murders, I believe, is still freely available online. Do you think XMNA or someone would be interested in publishing it? Well, shoot, we could publish it.
Yeah, we have Atheist Republic has a publishing arm.
Yeah, we have a publishing imprint.
XMNA doesn't have a publishing arm. Okay, Atheist Republic has a publishing arm. We have books under our belt.
Yeah. Wait, where can I find this? Bubble, you got my email? Send it to me.
But wait, don't promise anything, because we said we're not going to add any more books for a long time.
No, but if it's this good, I'd be willing to put in the work.
Oh my god!
Because
no promises.
I'm not promising. The main prohibiting factor was my time. I want to see if it's on Amazon already. Russell.
All right, we got it in our super chat. Omar Sheikh.
The first thing that comes up is Indian spices. There is no book, just spices.
We could look that later. We could look up that later. Okay.
Come on. Omar Sheikh is saying, "Oh, thank you again for the £5. Pointless to have dinner with Adnan Rashid and Ali Dawa and then rip their Quran, which they love dearly. It confirms their fears to ex-Muslims." Okay, Omar, thank you for the super chats, but you're very stuck on this.
But it wasn't pointless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I think it was very helpful to show. Actually, now that I think about it, that's very how amazing that is. The message that I'm sending. Actually, Omar, you're proving to me that how you're actually reminding me about how awesome my tactics are, because because look at what I have done. I have done, when it comes to Islam and things that don't hurt anybody, I have done the worst in their eyes, right? Mm-hmm. I've taken the Quran, I spit on the Quran, and I ripped the Quran apart. Okay, so when it comes to things that are not people and don't hurt anybody, I have gone to the extreme end on one side. And when it comes to the people, even the ex-Muslim community told me, these are people that are not worth talking to. You shouldn't be friends with them. I went and had dinner with them, and I tried to become friends with them. Yeah, it doesn't work, but I tried. I had dinner with them. We talked. We had a good time. We had lots of laughs, right? So when it comes to people, the people that a lot of ex-Muslims hate the most, I went and had dinner with them. When it comes to ideas and the book and pieces of paper, I've done extreme other. I'm showing people, I'm communicating to the people that how aggressively anti-Islam I could be. And when it comes to Muslims as people themselves, how friendly I could be with them. It doesn't really matter if they accept me as a friend or not. I'm showing that it's possible to do both. And thank you for giving me the opportunity and to showing how I do both of these things at the same time. So yeah, you're wrong.
Here's the thing. I think it was also helpful that you did that because, you've talked to me about this before. When you went and had dinner with Ali Dawa, you were actually able to see how much backlash you got from the ex-Muslim community for doing that.
Yeah.
That itself was very revelatory in a way.
Yeah. Why are you eating with these people? Why are you hanging out with these people? These people are so bad, and why are you talking to them, right? So I did blasphemy in the ex-Muslim community, right?
Yeah, I think
So
you said something along the lines of like it showed you how much work like your community has to do on that front as well. You know, like it's not a one-way street.
yeah, and it also shows that I'm not just talk. I do what I preach, right? So I'm
Let
just
them
like,
know.
yeah. By the way, also let me brag about this thing. Look,
Oh, boy.
people just because you give us super chat, that doesn't mean we're gonna like agree with everything you say. Like we're gonna call you out even if you're giving us. But yeah, we're gonna still thank you for the super chat though. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat. We're such a great channel, Susanna. We're like so honest to our audience. We have the best takes on everything.
True. No, I mean it is us against the world.
Yes, it is.
Well, I actually have a question for the live chat. If you saw me on Hara Sultan's channel, what did you think?
Oh yeah. Wait, let's bring up some. Oh, here, Goddess Katie is saying something. Oh, this is not a question. Guys, send us a question if you're tagging us, not comments. Katie saying the ideology of Hindutva was developed by a far-right atheist in 1923. It became political, and they're probably the first person to call himself a Hindu atheist. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Well, I didn't know the Hindu atheist part. I knew that it was a far-right atheist who started Hindutva. It's very similar to far-right low melanated nationalist. Again, I'm not saying the full word because YouTube doesn't like that, right? Now, what? Okay. What? Yeah, nationalist in North America and Western Europe who are not Christian, but you want to use Christianity as a form of creating a Western identity. They're atheists, right? A lot of far-right groups in North America and Western Europe, they are atheists, but they want to use Christianity as a way to create a Western identity, which is, again, very similar to India when it comes to the atheist Hindutva people who they themselves don't believe in anything supernatural, but they want to use Hinduism as a way to create an ethnos, to promote an ethno state, and to promote their bigotry. Very similar. It's so crazy how similar this is in Western Europe, North America, in far-right movements in Israel, and then far-right movements like the far-right people in India. They all very they're not connected with each other, but they behave a lot very similar to each other. Oh, we got another super chat.
Oh, from the To Be Determined podcast, gave us $2. Thank you. Saying, do you know Alden's number?
No.
Who the hell is Alden?
No. Hold on, let me search. Yeah, am I supposed to know this?
Alden? That's just a first name.
Okay. We actually gave the right answer. Because Alden's number is a rhetorical strategy used to call out someone who is pretending to be very knowledgeable about a topic they know nothing about. So it's supposed to be like, you ask it and somebody says like, oh yeah, I know it. So because it's nothing. I just looked it up and it's like nothing, right? It's a trick to see like if you're full of crap, right? So we passed because we both said
so funny. Wait, because I thought this meant someone's phone number.
Yeah, no, but I said I don't know. Let me look it up. So I passed. I'm not. That means that when I tell you I'm good at something, I am good at something, because when I don't know something, I'm
That's
actually
the takeaway, guys.
That's the takeaway. The takeaway is that I'm not full of crap. Even when I am being self-congratulatory, is because it's true. Because if I don't know something, I'm actually going to be honest with you guys and I say I don't know. I passed the Alden test. Okay? So every other time that I'm saying I'm so awesome at something, it's true.
We got a super chat from Aluz Akbar. It's $3. Wait, but I don't have the live chat open. Can you see what it is?
Oh no, I don't know. Guys, tell us what it is. I don't have the live chat open as well. Yes, StreamYard doesn't pull for this
They
so
need
bad.
super chats and they need frickin' the emotes from YouTube.
Oh,
I
my
feel like
God.
our members don't use our emotes as much.
Yeah, well, because we can't highlight them. And
Yeah.
look, when people use our emotes, when we highlight it, it doesn't show on StreamYard. It's so sad. This is something that they need to improve on. Hold it, let me see.
Oh,
Oh,
they're saying it was a fist bump.
it's a pear. It's a fruit that is doing fist bumps. Thank you so much for that.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Cute. Well, I think we're coming up on our time.
Oh yeah, we're good. We're good.
Should we talk about our new format for the Q&As, or are we going to talk about that later?
Oh, well, yeah, we're gonna switch between 1 week we're gonna do public Q&A, and then next week we're gonna do members only Q&A. So we're gonna do only one Q&A every week. We're gonna switch between public Q&A 1 week, and then the next week we're gonna do a YouTube member only Q&A, and then again switch.
Yes. So if we didn't answer your question this week, be sure to tune in next time.
Yeah, and again, I think we should do the member only Q&A just for our members. I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Also,
we got one more super chat. But you go ahead.
Just a reminder that our blasphemous art ebook now has been updated, and it has a lot more blasphemy in it than it used to. So all our the safe for work version, the no nudity version of our blasphemous art is now available for free on our ebook. It's still sexy, even though there has no nudity. A link to that is in the description, and you get it for free. So get that for free. Okay, so what's the super chat?
Who is better, Iblis or Allah? Thank you for the £2, Omar.
Do you even have to ask?
Iblis.
Iblis, for sure.
Masha, please.
One of them is like enslaving you. The other one is trying to save you from slavery.
Subhanallah, please.
Yeah. One of them is trying to give you the fruit. One of them is trying to make you follow without questioning. The other one is trying to give you the gift of the fruit of knowledge. How is it? Yeah. But yeah, thank you for that question. It gives us an opportunity. Iblis was the first humanist, and he wasn't even
human.
Wasn't even human. That's how
what
good
you
he
gonna
is.
do about that?
Every single other humanist, they themselves are humans. So they were like self-motivated, like they had interest in promoting humanism because they themselves are human. Iblis was the first humanist and wasn't even human. Enough said.
Go think about that.
Yes.
Go think about that.
Iblis wa Akbar. Exactly. Anyways. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the questions. Questions were good today. And we got a lot of super chat. Wow, you guys were very charitable today. Thank you so much for that. Great questions. Thank you for generosity. And see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Get our blasphemous art link in the description. Bye.
Subscribe.